What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to be doing the weekly recap of the stocked up trading floor. The market made new all-time highs yet again this week, but after the US and China reached a trade framework, the market didn't love that too much. Definitely make sure to check out today's main channel video for all the context surrounding that, but let's get right into this week's recap. Starting out with the high-risk breakouts, Monday was a really good day. Qualcomm call options moved up by over 800%, which was really great. And then CODX had some good movement as well of 132%. UAMY had some okay movement of around like 62%. And there were a handful of other stocks that moved up in fine ways. And then a handful of stocks that didn't really move up at all or were just duds. And this is to be expected as most of the opportunity is concentrated in the fewest stocks each day, just like in the S&P 500 as a whole. Stocks are not weighted equally at all. You have companies like Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft that have an extreme dominant weighting / influence on the market compared to basically the remaining 497 companies. Like it's not weighted equally, and the same goes for intraday opportunities. So it was nice to see Qualcomm had some really good action continuing on throughout the rest of the week. It wasn't as crazy on Tuesday as it was on Monday, but we did see some really good action on Thursday with Moderna, and we'll get to that in just a second. But looking on Tuesday, the 28th, good action out of WULF of 232% movement, SMR 158%, DraftKings 121%, W 104%, a handful of other decent moves sprinkled in as well, and then of course a handful of duds as well. Going on to the 29th, not as crazy as some of the other days in the week, but still good action nonetheless. What was nice about the 29th is that while there wasn't like one stock that had insane price movement of 800% or 1,000% or more, there was a lot of good action where most stocks did move by at least 30 to 35%, and there were only like 3 trades that really didn't move at all. So that was nice, even if it wasn't like the craziest day ever. Going on to the 30th is, I would definitely say, the best day of the week, as Moderna really just went insane. These call options moved up by just under 1,300%, but there was also really good action out of Boeing that moved up by 293%, VZ that moved up by 230%, MSTR that moved up by 119%, BMY that moved up by 118%, JPM that moved up by 64%, and the list goes on and on. Of course, there were a handful of duds sprinkled in there as well, but overall, very good day. Friday was not as crazy, especially with that Moderna crazy movement, but it was okay. STX had movement of around 96%. Netflix and MRVL had movement of around like just above 50%. So decent day, nothing too crazy though. And then looking at the pullbacks, as always with pullback setups, they'll never be as crazy as the breakout setups because the best stocks, the best setups don't pull back. But what's nice about pullback setups is that they tend to be slower, smoother, and easier to trade than a crazy breakout that is just like super volatile. So looking at this action, we can see like on the 30th, we even had some nice movement with some Meta and Boeing put options, as both of those moved up by over 170%, and even good moves with some of these other ones as well, with like BMY, MSTR, JP Morgan. That was nice to see. And looking on Friday, of course, there were a handful of stocks that, were more so duds than anything else, but there were also a handful of setups that had decent moves, even if they weren't as crazy as the breakouts. And then shifting over into the theta trades, 4 out of the 5 trades for this week expired for max profit, which is great to see. If you have not shorted put options before, definitely consider at least looking into it. Basically, when you short put options, you get paid to buy stocks that you'd otherwise be happy to own at prices you're happy to own those stocks at. this is not just a good long-term proposition to have, as stocks tend to increase in value over time, and getting paid to buy them is, nice as well. But the options you are selling are also theoretically a little bit more expensive than they should be due to the volatility risk premium that is embedded into them, which works to the seller's benefit. In this case, that would be you. So anyways, check it out. Shorting put options, writing put options, cash secured put options, they're all like the same thing. So that is, some helpful information if you're doing your own research. But of course, if you need any help, feel free to reach out to Tom, Hunter, Mason, or myself in SM Chat, and we'll make sure you're taken care of. Besides that, thank you all so much for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend.